Tini Parashram Manataha. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Verse number 61. Tani Sharvani Samyamya Yukta Ashishta Manparaha Vasehi Indriyani Tasa Prana Pratitishtaha. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his conscience upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. In the material world, we all have been traveling, and you must have read some slogans behind the lorry, apt for spiritual life also. Nazar hati, durghatna ghati. If your eyes are not on the road, you're bound to have accidents. Well, we have also experienced in life a saying that goes, many a slips between the cup and the lip. This holds in good in spiritual life also. Any Matajis or Prabhujis would like to experience this in their lives? Anybody? Hare Krishna. Nobody? Hello.
Kindly repeat the second sentence, Mataji. It was little blurred.
Yeah. You know, like we have another saying in life. There are many slips between the cup and the lip. And this holds good in spiritual life too. Any of you would like to share an experience regarding this? I know. Okay, so I'll continue. Sorry. Bharat Maharaj, affection for a deer. Bharat Maharaj renunciated everything, came to the forest, gave away wife, children, relatives, friends, all that was close to his heart. And he simply gave it up, just like you pass tool and pass away without attachment and affection, because of his affection to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He left it all and he went to the forest, the great king after whom our whole world country was named, Bharata Varsha. India is given by the colonized Britishers. He is meditating in the jungle, good, in a state of bhava. And he lands up watching this just delivered deer whose mother passes away while trying to escape from a lion floating in the river. He pays attention to it. He should, as a human being. When one's life is in danger, any human being should reach out. Even animals reach out to help each other. Natural feeling. Picked it up, picked the deer and brought it to the ashram. But lo and behold, the deer was not an ordinary deer. It was a deer set up specially for Bharat Maharaj. Little did he know that it was soft, so subtle. On a very subtle platform, he paid attention. And before that, felt compassion. Bharat Maharaj took care of the deer. Natural, kept it comfortably. He petted it, he patted it. Compassion resulted in affection. Affection resulted into madness. Then he fed grass, protected it from animals, other dangers. He became so absorbed in taking care of the deer that after a few days, he forgot everything about the spiritual advancement and forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It was built very fast. The object of affection standing in front of him is able to take the attention of Bharat Maharaj to such a great extent that he gave up his spiritual practices. Look at the power of attachment, affection. It is it can completely upset your spiritual practice. And having given up all types of attachment and affection, just a deer can innocently topsy-turvy your life. It's not on purpose. It's growing because of indulgence, attachment, forgetting sadhana, attention shifted to the deer. Mad with attachment, praying to the Lord, where is the deer? If out of sight, he was singing the glories of the earth planet, which was having the footprints of the deer. He was singing the glories of the deer. Crazy, mad, realms that destroy world. Unrestricted attachment results into kama, krodha, moha, buddhi nasha. Kissed the deer, kept it on his chest. When answering nature's call, he kept the deer close by. While doing yagna, kunda, plucking flowers, he was not separated from the deer. A renounced king became a victim to unbridled affection to a deer, enjoyed it. His good karma gave hindrance to spiritual life. You have to be cautious. It's a telling lesson. You have to be very, very cautious in spiritual life. You cannot freely go around giving affection and later regretting it. When Bharat Maharaj came in a body of a deer, that's when he understood what he had done and why he is wrong. It took him another lifetime. Huge mess of my spiritual life. A small deer did it all. It did not require a beautiful woman like Ramba, Kilotama, Urvashi. Menaka came and spoiled Vishwamitra's meditation. Bharat Maharaj's meditation was very subtly spoiled by a deer. Bharat Maharaj had to leave the deer in the forest. Bharat Maharaj had enjoyed the deer very subtly. Mind tells you all sorts of stories to rationalize your unnerved, ill-placed affection, and you believe the stories. You are not in charge of the deer. Krishna is. You took over Krishna's job, hiding behind excuses. The attachment was so subtle that you don't know what you are doing. Now, in a body of a deer, realization occurs. Horrible. Body of a deer, an exalted consciousness. He matures in Krishna consciousness. Bharat Maharaj took birth in a Brahminical family, Jad Bharata. If one is not strong enough to protect himself against the onslaught of material affection, he may be diverted from spiritual energies. The path of spiritual realization is just like the sharp edge of a razor. One shaves his cheeks with a sharp razor very nicely, but as soon as attention is diverted from the activity, he immediately cuts his cheek because he mishandles the razor. Brahma, the supermost Brahmana, is afraid of such downfalls, so constantly prays to the Supreme Lord for protection. Bharat Maharaj, due to the foolishness, he became attached to an insignificant deer and thus fell down and had to accept the body of a deer. This is significant for every devotee. If we misuse our position and think that we are fully engaged in devotional service and can do whatever we like, we have to suffer like Bharat Maharaj and be condemned to accept the type of body that empowers our devotional service. Only the human form is able to execute devotional service. But if we voluntarily give this up for sense gratification, we certainly have to be punished. By the grace of Krishna, a devotee is punished in such a way that his eagerness to attain the lotus feet of the Lord Vasudeva is increased. Through the medium of Bharat Maharaj, Krishna teaches us that we must be careful in discharging. We must be careful in discharging of devotional service. If we want to keep our minds completely fixed without deviation, we must engage them in the devotional service full time. Balvan Indriya Gramo Vidwamsa Api Karsati. It is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Vidvanamsa Api Karsati means even the most learned also becomes the victim of sensuous urges. Eating is not prohibited, but we eat voraciously, we shall sleep more than required. Sense gratification ensures that we may be degraded to lower form. So, Rupa Goswami says, Avyartaha kalatvam. Every moment should be utilized in Krishna consciousness to return home, back to Godhead. Born now as Jat Bharata, he was now a person beyond the bodily concept and did not forget the incident of his past life. Jat Bharata, who was chastised by King Raghugan while carrying the palanquin, did not at all become angry. Instead, delivered his teaching to the king. A highly qualified Vaishnav is a friend to all living entities. Haridas Thakur always chanted the holy name of the Lord. He was allured by a prostitute for 3 consecutive evenings in the twilight of the moon. A young, beautiful prostitute showing enough to cover. He did not run away. He did not shy away. He asked her to wait till he completed his prescribed rounds. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung, Deha smiti nahi yara, samsara bandhana kar tara. The Bhagavad devotee Haridas Thakur raised the prostitute to a platform of perfection, putting an end to her nonsensical position. She turned devotee. Renunciation in Krishna consciousness is so strong that it cannot be deviated by any attractive illusion. False ego is born due to misuse of independency. It is the basic principle of all material activities. The entanglement of materialism is the material mind. Let's see another example. Dhruvasa Muni. Material possession can be accepted as far as they can be used in devotional service. Anukelina Krishna Silanam. A devotee has no attachment for material things as housewife, children, jewels, friends, cars. Maharaja Ambrish had all these things, but he was not attached to them. To worship Lord Krishna, Maharaja Ambrish, along with his queen, who were equally qualified, observed vows of Ekadashi. The king gave charity to the Brahmins, 60 crores cows, and fed them sumptuously. He was about to observe the end of Ekadashi when, with the Brahmin's permission, that is Dwadasi, by breaking the fast. Exactly at that time, however, Dwadasa Muni, the great and powerful mystic Muni, appeared on the scene as an uninvited guest. Standing up to receive Dwasa Muni, King Ambrish offered him a seat, requested him to eat. Dwasa Muni gladly accepted the request, but to perform ritual ceremonies, he went for a dip to the river Yamuna. Dwasa Muni started meditating of the impersonal Brahman. King Ambrish had to ensure the breaking of the fast within the time of the Dwapan. But by the consent of the Brahmanas, he reached the decision to drink water. Drinking water accepted as eating and also as not eating. Dwasa Muni, by mystic powers, understood that King Ambrish had drunk water without his permission. Dwasa Muni, red with anger, pride, took the trident in his hand and making The surface of the earth trembled with his footstep. The blazing Muni came before Maharaja Ambrish. Maharaja Ambrish was not at all disturbed and did not move an inch. A devotee cannot be defeated by a so-called mystic yogi. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. However great a mystic philosopher or fruitive worker he may be. Maharaja Ambrish did not even request the Supreme Lord for protection. He was fixed in thinking of the Lord. Protection was immediately given. Konteya Pratijanini Name Bhakta Pranashayati. A serpent may be very angry and ready to bite, but the ferocious snake is helpless when faced by a blazing fire in the forest. The Sudarshana disc of the Lord followed Dwasamani, who was running hither and thither. The unbearable fire of the Sudarshana Chakra followed Dwasamani on the surface of the earth, caves, ocean, different planets. Dwasamuni approached Brahma, Lord Shiva, the rulers of human society and rulers of the demigods. All of us surrendered to Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Dwasamuni went to Vaikunta, pleaded forgiveness. Dwasamuni was a great Brahmin, but was a non-devotee. Mystic yogis are self-centered. Dwasamuni realized he created a demon to kill Maharaja Ambrish. The king stayed fixed in his place, praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, depending solely and wholly on him. Misuse of power is ultimately dangerous, not for society, but for the person who misuses it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead instructed Dwasamuni to ask forgiveness from Ambrish Maharaj. Dwasamuni experienced the greatness of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The wrong consciousness is that I am the master. If we do not surrender unto the will of the Lord, then we will have to surrender to the will of Maya. The whole world is serving different types of senses. They have different desires. They are slaves, servants of different desires. Hanumanji was an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. He was a beast, not even a man. He was an animal. He comes from the monkey species of life, but he's a great devotee of the Lord. Complete absorption. The symptom of the mind are determination and rejections, which are due to different kinds of desire. The material mind is not fixed, but the very same mind can be fixed when engaged in activities of Krishna consciousness. Narottam Das Thakur has lamented that one who deviates from Krishna consciousness, he becomes entangled in material activities. Satsang chadi kainu atsanga vilasaha te karne lagila ye karama banda pasa. Having given up pure state of consciousness because I wanted to enjoy the temporary material manifestation, therefore I have been entangled in the network of actions and reactions. Material desire is just like a blazing fire. Shubhra Rishi was engaged in austerities deep in the Yamuna water, saw a pair of fish engaged in sexual affairs. The Rishi felt sexual desires. He asked King Mandata's daughter's hand. Having been cleverly rejected by the king, Shubhra Muni, being a yogi, transformed his feeble, grey, slack body in such a way as to be desirable even to the celestial woman. What to speak of daughters of worldly kings? All 50 princes accepted him as their husband, although he was one man. Each he begot 100 sons and a family of 5,000 members. He became fallen and thought he would be happy in material life. So there is no end of material enjoyment in life. and the next. Subramani realized this. He was quite conversant with the self, went to the forest, performed severe penance, no more material enjoyment. He attained the perfect stage, back to Godhead. Subramani lost the result of his long austerity simply by the association with the sexual affairs of the fish. To cease from personal sense endeavoring and to concentrate on the Supreme Lord is a sign of self-surrender. My spiritual master, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, says, the spirit soul can be happy only in the association of the Supreme Living Being, the personality of Godhead, and nowhere else. Each of us need to be engaged in devotional service to understand the ultimate cause of his existence. If one wants to perfect his life, he should discharge his prescribed duties for the satisfaction of Krishna. Yagnartaha karmaso anartaha. All activities should be performed simply for yagna or the satisfaction of Vishnu. As long as the mind is distracted towards the material, there is no possibility of concentrations of one's mind and intelligence upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One becomes joyful by discharging devotional service. In that joyful attitude, let's all chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
So with this, I end my class. Thank you, Matajis and Prabhujis, for patiently hearing me out. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Dandavat
Very
Pranam.
nice
To all
class,
devotees
Mataji. Thank you very
present here.
much.